So good morning, everyone. And as we were just saying, happy 4th of July for yesterday. I hope everyone had wonderful celebrations. For those of you that celebrate the 4th of July, of course, I've had a few tongue-in-cheek comments over social media about being British and how we don't celebrate that. And of course, it's been fun to be a part of that. So today it's the 5th of July, and Mike and I wanted to take a slightly different approach with this call and maybe even have this different approach for today's call be kind of the main way that we drive this call forward and work together as a team. This is, I think, an important group for those that are participating on this call and for those that are a part of the Launch Partners Collective. It's designed just by way of reminder because each call throughout each week serves a different purpose, and I hope we each feel and appreciate the difference in the purpose that they play and how they interact with our businesses. This call, as we look at how it fits within our organization, our activity, our rhythm, our flow of business activities, is designed in order to assist us in our regular, consistent monthly activities, specifically in the hosting and running of monthly meetings in our local areas. There is that language again that we have reiterated, and Mike has reiterated for decades in this business, of this rhythm of the business that we operate with daily contacting, weekly presentations, weekly meetings, monthly events, regional events, the bigger ones, quarterly and annual larger events, and so on, in order to establish a flow that starts small and builds out to a larger organization where we can meet everyone's needs within that process. So you have the one-on-ones, you have the small groups, and then you have the bigger events for the, raising the vision, feeling connected with the team, the community at large, and so on. And for, of course, the deeper opportunities for meaningful recognition. So Launch Partners comes in from the monthly perspective, that monthly element of our annual activities. So again, for context, as we look, we're kind of halfway through the year now. Hopefully, as we reflect back in January, when we had some clear commitments and goals for what we wanted to accomplish in the year of 2019, typically what we see is hopefully around November, December time, we're looking at these goals, wanting to understand what specifically am I going to accomplish, what's my business strategy, what's my plan for the coming year. Then in January, we can start confidently and in a timely fashion towards those goals, knowing, and it's always that clear vision of, by December 31st, this is what I want to have accomplished. The challenge for most people that I've experienced as I've coached and mentored throughout the years is most people know clearly what they want to achieve by December 31st. I want to be a qualified platinum. I want to be on Team Kaizen. I want to get my check to this amount. They're very clear, succinct, specific goals. But then to work back to where they are in the present, in the moment, becomes a barrier for them. They don't know how to break it down backwards. So if December is there, November should be here, October should be here, September should be here, August, July. And this is where I'm at now. And then we can move forward. So that gives us context then to say, in the month of July, I should achieve X, Y, and Z in regards to recruitment, in regards to group volume growth, in regards to customer acquisition. And if that's the case, that they're the activity outcomes, what should I do by way of, narrow it down again, how many people should I be contacting on a daily basis if I need to recruit this number of people? How many demonstrations, product demonstrations should I be having if I'm going to have this many new customers? How many meetings should I hold? How many ABCs, how many presentations should I be having on a monthly or weekly basis in order to achieve and deliver that action outcome? And we kind of work it that way. And Launch Partners is designed to facilitate the answer to those questions. So that at the end of the month, we start at the beginning, which is why it's the first Friday of the month call. We start at the beginning of the month saying, okay, what's the plan? This is what we did. Then this is what we're looking forward to. So it's a quick look back to see what we've done, and then a confident look forward to see what we need to do different in order to increase, because that's typically what happens, I didn't quite meet the mark of my action outcome. So what do I need to change in my behavior in order to get the action delivered? Do I need to do more appointments? Do I need to speak to more people? Did I hold enough meetings? Did I invite enough guests? Did I involve any experts onto my ABCs in order to get a more meaningful outcome and strengthen my my closing experience with my prospects and what have you? This is what this call is for. So we want to make this a little bit more interactive today, and have each of you have the opportunity, where time permitting, of course, to be able to share back a quick look back at last month. How did you do in regards to achieving your goals? Were they clear? Did you go into the month with a clear goal of what needed to be accomplished? Did you achieve it? What did you do to achieve it? What was missing? And please understand, I don't want this to be the first reaction when people hear that request is one of nerves. Yeah, maybe a little bit of intimidation. Oh, I didn't do too well. I'm not sure if I want to share that. Or it's a little bit confrontational because we hold the mirror up. But it's healthy to do. And this is, I want to emphasize, a safe place to do it. Yeah. There is power in accountability. There is momentum and strength that can come from having that in a shared environment like this. So amongst peers, if we can share just a little bit of how we've done and where we're going, we can not only help ourselves, but we can also help each other. Madeline, are you going to ask a question?
No, I want to share something. With your move, you may not be aware of it, but since Italy, I think, Jeff has been doing this 2020 every Wednesday night. And he's doing just this. And many of the people on here are on his call. So there's a sheet that he has. He's gone through the incentives. We're doing exactly everything you just said. And reporting in and doing that. So some people here have been a part of that as I look around. So just, you know, that you might not be aware of what he's doing Wednesday night for about a half an hour on 8 o'clock our time.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, no, I wasn't aware of that. So how is that? You fill us in then, Madeline, because if not everyone's doing it, then it'll be good to get some insight on that.
Well, it's been good for me and the few that have been involved, because I have a new executive that's launching, and we're co-hosting the 20th call. And so it's in tandem, working with getting my plan down. And so I do know what year to date has been and what I need to do each month as a result of that. Not that I wasn't going to do it anyway, but it's been helpful to be on that call, listen to what others are doing, and just for that half an hour plugging into it.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So as you look forward to this month, we're at the beginning of the month now, what are your plans for this month in regards to
flashing the first silver? We're doing this together. So Entrepreneurs Club, and we've been meeting and have the plan set up. He's working on the list. We're doing the ABC. So that's the first, while I'm also contacting daily and going back to people that I already had on my list. The other thing I'm doing, I haven't had a chance to connect to Michelle Kowalczyk, the Thursday night co-host with me on The Better Way.
Yeah.
She's been on holiday. We're supposed to meet later today. But last week, well, the last time we had it, because last night was the 4th of July, there was a very good turnout because of Tyra Andrews' group. I mean, we had more guests there than we've ever had before. So the commitment with the group was to trial this, that to host either before or after. Like for me, I'm going to do 6:30 to 7:30 before the 8 o'clock Better Way, have people here. And that's my weekly. Now, somebody that's on PST time may want to show that first and have people in for some hors d'oeuvres afterwards and follow it. But to turn that into a weekly wellness preview event for those that want to gather people wherever they are. Hattie Jane's been good at meeting and always calling in from a restaurant. So just get the momentum going of more people. So the challenge to the group was, if the 16 or so were there, if we all had one new one, we'd have 32 the next Better Way. Yeah. So that calendar of my rhythm of the business, I'm working on today to submit to people regionally. That ties into the event on the 20th and Charles's silver run. So both the involvement that I've had on the Thursday nights and then being plugged into what Jeff's doing has just helped provide a vehicle of what you're asking us to report on today. And there's a few others here. I see Barb and Stan, who may be Elaine Matthews has been on that call.
Madeline, can I just jump in?
Yes.
Just something that is striking me, and I want to head this up right away. Well, two things. One, would you mind sharing the flyer that you produced with Charles on it? I think it's one of the best looking flyers we've seen in a long time. And I want everybody to have that as a template to look at. Secondly, you keep mentioning his silver run. I don't know ever in the day I've ever spoken about anybody doing a silver run.
Thank you for catching me on that. Business launch, the business strategy and launch. Entrepreneur Club, silver will be the outcome.
Correct. That's exactly right. Because his focus ought to be to pull a team together, because he's got a team together running at the same pace he's at. He's a gold in 90 days or less. So silver should never enter the equation.
I got it. And you shared that before, Mike, so that's good. I just wanted to interject what I'm doing, and thank you. I won't make that mistake again. Thank you.
Excellent. So let's move on to someone else. Let's Ruth, do you want to unmute your line and perhaps give us an update on your bit of a progress report for yourself?
So June was a little slow for us. We did not make Club Ki, which we were hoping to, but I know it's because we just couldn't get enough appointments. You know, if you're not in front of people, it's not going to happen. We did do a few Zooms, and we've been working on the background stuff a little bit more in the month of June. After we came back from Japan, we've been more committed because we don't have a website. So that's what we've been working on, spending a lot of time. So July, we're just taking a look at that just for planning, and really, I have a team member and myself. We're going through Eric Worre's 20 in 30, recruit 20 people in 30 days. And he's got some really solid pointers. And when we do that, we will be able to accomplish an entrepreneur club. And so that's what we're going to plan out. And that does take some planning. So you can't say, I'm going to start today. Yeah. What you start today is the planning. So that's what we're doing right now, is to plan, okay, how many people have to call in a month, and then break it backwards. How many people have to call per week, and how many appointments, or how am I going to get those appointments? So that's what we're doing. We're going backwards, just like you mentioned. But just a month is what we're doing. We're doing that for July. So we'll see. So we're planning for July, and I think because June was not as good as we wanted to be, we're like, okay, we got to get our butts in gear here. So that's how we're doing July.
Yeah, no, good. And you're right, and I'm glad you emphasize the importance of planning. You know, there's that saying, isn't it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah, and so often we try to drive with emotion in this business and say, just get started, just get going as fast as you can, when it really gives a huge advantage to anyone that will take a little bit of time to prepare well in order to execute with excellence. I think that's really important. So, okay, so let me see who's next. Who wants to go next? Any volunteers? Barb, you've been doing this a little bit, I understand, on Jeff's calls as well. So do you want to perhaps jump on and share some of your thoughts too?
Are you talking Barb Satterwhite?
Sorry, yes, Barb Satterwhite.
Sorry, I just jumped on. Yeah, I'm not sure how to share with you right now. I am approaching new people, which is the excitement for me right now, and building that way, and using the strategies that everyone's been talking about. So for me, Club Kia was easy in the first quarter, didn't happen second quarter. So again, it's for me building new people, not like we've done before, trying to work with people that aren't really wanting to do anything. So I don't have any ahas other than excited about just having that, for lack of a better word, that feeling of attracting people that I want. And so that's where I am. And it's almost like starting over.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Barb. I'll give a brief. Oh, sorry, Madeline's just saying something here. Let me see.
I found those two that I can share. That
I'll jump in.
Yeah, please.
If I can just show those, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
You could, even if you want to share that, Madeline, I was thinking more on the Launch Partners chat.
Okay, all right. Okay, will do. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ben, I'll just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
I just fell shy of the Club Ki myself, and I didn't really have that as a goal until this month. I had a pretty good month in June, but I realized if I had made it a goal earlier in the 3-month window, I probably would have hit it quite easily.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing, folks. I'm rebuilding. I'm looking for the next Mike DiMuccio. I did a call recently, and I'm going to share it with you guys. It's a little rough around the corners because I don't know why the sound and the video don't link up. I did a Zoom call for a group out west for Elaine's team and the people she's collaborating with, and it was about fear because I said, what's the issue? I did a one-on-one with her, and it kept coming up the same thing. Ultimately, it's this fear that is in the consciousness, in the vibration when they're approaching new people, especially the kind of people that we want. And so I said, you know what, if that's what you guys are talking about, hold a call, I'll come in and we'll discuss it. And I did a call, about an hour long call.
Give them a sec to come back in here.
Past this week. And I want to share it with you guys because I felt there was some really salient points about that. Are you still hearing me?
Yeah. It just paused for a minute. That's all.
Oh, okay. The point that I was making was this fear is originating because we're in the way of ourselves. It's our ego. It's our lack of self-esteem, whatever you want to call it. It's just we're in the way of ourselves. And context is what creates meaning and value. So when people are out there prospecting, she kept repeating this inherently, that it was almost as if people were doing her a favor if they were listening, if she got in front of somebody and they sat down with her, it was like they were doing her a favor. I'm like, what's the context where that's coming from? And so I'm going to share this video, guys, with you guys without having to go through it all right now. But I think it's really important because I think it's systematic. It's something that is happening to everybody that I'm connecting with who's not making the phone calls. It's because there's this inherent fear and perspective that somehow they're intruding or their prospect is doing them a favor, a lack rather than a context of what are we creating? What is it that we are doing together collectively creating? First and foremost, why does Nikken even have a right to exist? If we start from that point of view, and then what's our role in helping to expand into the marketplace and become a household name? What's our role in that? So first, there's why Nikken should be allowed to be in business in the first place. What's the value it brings to the world? Second, what's our role in that? And now, how are we going to improve and expand Nikken's penetration in the market? It's through other people. We're not going to do it by ourselves. So we have a need to find other people and see if they're in alignment with this vision and this mission. So they're not doing us a favor. They're joining a force. They're joining a cause. They're joining something that has value and meaning and substance. And of course, the benefits that we receive from our success is simply that, the benefits. So why we need help to create it. So this is a shift in context. But anyway, I'll send the video out as soon as I know it's worth watching. You just turn the video off and just listen as to why probably many people are not making the adequate number of calls and contacts.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't you ask? Who would you not ask if it was their help you were asking for?
Yeah.
Who couldn't you ask for their help? They may say no, but if you take it personally, then you have a problem. But if it's just looking for help, if you can help, great. If you can't, fine. If you can help directly, great. If you can't, help indirectly. But
Right.
Yeah.
if that's going to make my quota, etc., shift the context.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like
That was
that. And I know that's certainly been a strategy that you've employed well. I think that's how you got some of your top performing leaders and business partners into your team in the first place, if I recall correctly. So, you know, using that position of asking for help. So,
Can I make it?
I would also say, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but if you haven't, people don't want to be assimilated into Nikken. I don't know if you guys are fans of Star Trek, but I sure am. There's a collective called the Borg. And anyway, the point is, if you're somebody of substance, if you're somebody who has a healthy ego, and you've earned it, you're somebody who's got influence in the world, you don't want to be assimilated into an audience of people called Nikkenites. You want to be somebody who contributes to something in a meaningful way, and it raises or adds to your stature. So the idea of calling somebody up and saying, I want you to join my team or our team, that's not going to appeal to somebody who's already got something going on. If you were to call somebody up who has something going on and has influence and said, you're the kind of person who could take this idea that we got and really move it somewhere, really put it on.
yeah. Mike, you're breaking up quite a bit. I'm not sure if you can hear us. Okay. Okay. Bob Joseph, do you want to go next?
Barbara Joseph. Initially,
Accomplishment. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mike, you keep on breaking up. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Okay, I'll just end it at that then.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Bob Joseph.
Hi. So initially I wasn't going to comment because I really haven't been active. I was in April calling people, had an event, Brody Craney was here, it was very exciting. While that was happening, I was in the midst of some injuries and those escalated. So the month of June, I've been working on deep healing from some old injuries, which has been lovely. What I've been finding is that my initial passion and way of Nikken isn't there anymore. And I've gotten very involved in photography and art, and that feels like it fuels me more. And I'm doing a gratitude journal, and Nikken seems to come up last. So I've been kind of reassessing how I want that to be. What is Nikken? How does it fit in my life? And it's very important. I find that I don't have access to people that have, posture and income because of where I live and how I live. But I know that that is nothing to stop me. So working with the law of attraction, finding my way in multiple areas of where I want to go in the future, that includes Nikken. But I feel like it's somehow changing, and I don't know what that is yet, and I'm excited to be exploring it. It's very important, but it hasn't fueled me and nourished me in the ways that it used to. And even though I've had people join as consultants and go executive, and I do all the things that we're told to do, it doesn't ripple. And, I know I don't take it personal, I keep going, but, I'm here to help those people meet their needs, and that doesn't happen. So I wasn't going to say anything at first, but the way the call went, I felt like I would share. And I really like having Nikken in my life. I mean, personally, and I want it more in the world, but I'm figuring out how to make that happen. I feel like I'm entering a new era in Nikken and in my life in general.
Yeah,
So.
good. No, thank you for sharing, Barbara, and thank you for your honesty and openness in sharing where you're at presently. I think it's important to be able to do that. I think in a long journey, and this is the critical thing, in running a Nikken business, it's not a quick sprint. It's a long-term endeavor, and in any long-term endeavor, we will have periods of feasting and periods of famine, peaks and troughs. Yeah, and that will come to all of us. So, first of all, you're certainly not alone in experiencing what you are presently experiencing. And I think it's important to recognize for a lot of people that is a part of a life cycle of anything. of importance. Mike.
Look, I just want to pick up on that. And hence, I see my role today as being a mentor and coach to someone who is eager to create something of a life themselves. So I'm not looking to be that guy. I'm looking to help others become that person. That's how I see my role today.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not fueled by the same motivation, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. That's what I came up with. I'm looking for someone who does what I did, more of what I did, and finding that. So that's kind of where I've come with the law of attraction, is finding those people who are going to carry the torch forward. And I'm the mentor and the leader. Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess I'll finish on. We've got just a couple of minutes to conclude. I'll just share a unique experience I had in some of my business activities of late. Just to wind up, as you can appreciate, I've had a little bit of a slow period of my own because I've been moving internationally, and that's been it's been exciting to move internationally, but frustrating at the same time when I've got so many exciting things that I want to invest my time on in Nikan. I started the other week experimenting with doing some contacting via LinkedIn, and this was a new approach for me. And I came across a new lead, which not that little guy, but I came across a new lead which I thought looked very, very promising. And we set up a call last Saturday. It was a week ago on Saturday, and it just seemed like he was the ideal candidate. I was very excited about this. I had a very targeted message that I had sent out on LinkedIn, and on that, as a result of that, was getting very specific individuals coming back. And this man was very interested. I was very excited. He had the skills that I was looking for, fit the criteria and what have you. And about a quarter of the way into the call, I realized that he was an inactive Nikan distributor. And not only was he an inactive Nikan distributor looking for a new opportunity, he was in my downline. And he's frontline to Susan Carver, and ended up being in one of my legs within my pay line. So the conversation changed pretty dramatically. And I went from being very confident that I was about to sign up a new recruit to re-engaging an inactive distributor. And the great thing is, he is re-engaged with the new approach that I was talking to him about. The new language that I used excited him, and he felt like he could connect with that and resonate with that a little bit. And Susan and I, interestingly, he beat me to the punch. I called Susan after the call to fill her in, of course, but he called her first, which I thought was neat considering he'd been inactive and had reached out to me proactively in response to my LinkedIn message, looking for an opportunity. But he reached out to her and let her know the conversation. I reached out to her and she said, "Okay, why don't you take off and run with this and see what happens." So we'll see what comes of it. But it's interesting how different approaches can make the world a small place. Yeah. But what was also interesting as well was how sometimes if we just change the words we use or the story we tell a little bit, it can attract people in a different way. This was a guy that was in Nikan and that had given up and thrown in the towel. He heard my story, my message online, was attracted by it and reached out, not knowing what the opportunity was. But he was intrigued by it, reached out and said, "I'm interested, tell me more." We had some dialogue a little bit before we picked up the phone and spoke, and we had a Zoom call. And then it wasn't until a quarter of the way through that call that we realized we're talking about the same business. So it's interesting, isn't it? Someone can be in it, have the opportunity, but not appreciate it or see it for what it could be based on the words that we're either telling ourselves or telling someone else. So a little shift there in our language. Or to use a metaphor using photography, perhaps, Barbara, just looking at the scene from a different viewpoint can give you a very different picture, can't it? And I think that can be interesting for each of us to explore is the language we use, the viewpoint we take to see what we do with this opportunity to make sure that we capture the right audience. But I thought that was a fun story to share as we conclude. It was certainly amusing to me. I was so excited to get a new recruit, but it ended up being re-engaging an active member of my team as a result. A win nonetheless. A win nonetheless. So
I would say that I'm really glad that I had the courage to speak up. So we talked about this some, and I do feel shifted consciously from all of this in very positive ways. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And I'll just say, just to conclude on that point, it's remarkable to me, and I'll be a little bit personal here. I do very good at helping others share their feelings. And I can share my own feelings within a certain sphere or within certain subjects very comfortably. But there are other times where I really struggle to share my feelings. And that's been a challenge sometimes with Kim and I, who is so easy to say, well, yeah, what are you feeling? I can see you're worried about something, you're stressed, you're down, and I'm fine. But sometimes that's a typical guy thing, I don't know. But I go, I'm fine, whatever, not a problem. And I bottle it in. She does a good job of kind of getting it out. And it's remarkable. I struggle sometimes to share those feelings of things that I'm worrying about or concerned over. But when it comes out, it's remarkable how quickly my mind or my heart can heal and it can change. So like I said, I really applaud you, Barbara, for doing it. And the fact that you can come back already and say, I feel better for having shared, I think is a great lesson for all of us. If we have any of those feelings, share, because it's so quick that the healing process can take place as a consequence. So thank you very much. Love to all of you. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll look forward to speaking to you soon. And of course, always reach out if you've got a question, a concern, if you need help. The doors are always open. You know that. Take care. We love you lots. Bye.